Hi there. Today I want to talk about something that is moving through me, about healing, about scabs and scars, about the goddess of compassion, and about how we prepare ourselves for the sacred work that we do. I've been sharing a lot about healing, being a healer, what it means to be a healer, how to embody. And so it's very alive for me. And yesterday I had a phenomenal experience that, it's my own personal story that I want to share, but not just to share my stuff, but to actually share an example of what healing could be. And I'm in the process of preparing myself to lead a year-long journey, transformational journey, through the seasons, through the elements, with the tool of Qigong as our transformational vehicle to travel on this inner journey through our bodies into a healing practice and into an internal alchemy practice. And so in order to be a guide and a leader, I am in the experience, right? So the experience that unfolded yesterday, as I'm preparing to lead this group, was a beautiful, uncomfortable healing experience. And it was a moment when I started to connect with what I'm afraid of would happen in groups. What I'm afraid of will happen when I'm the leader, when I show up in my full power, when I show up as who I am and take up all the space I need to take up. And I was immediately reminded of a time when I was younger and I walked into a room and just my very presence triggered a bunch of people. And then I was also reminded of a time when there was conflict in a circle. And I was one of the ones in conflict. And after these memories, I was actually pretty emotionally triggered. So when you have memories that emotionally trigger you, those are wounds. They might be scabbed over, but if you're feeling an emotional trigger from it, it's still alive. And so it's a scab and it's a wound. And wounds, from my vantage point, and I don't want to sound just too trivial, but they're weakening. They weaken you, right? But scars, on the other hand, they bolster you up. They're stronger. They build character. You're stronger because of your scars and you're weaker because of your wounds. So we are in this healing process of going from scabs to scars. And yesterday I was in a scabby space. And I noticed, what did I do? And this is the healing part of the story. Is I stopped picking at the scab for a moment. What did I do? I took a nap. I took a walk. I ate a healing meal. And I shared about it with a trusted friend. But when I shared about it with the trusted friend, I noticed something happening. What started happening was, in my conscious awareness, it was as if two pathways started to form. And then after sharing about it with the friend, I noticed these two pathways. Then later in the evening, I processed the experience with Pritam, and I could very clearly see what happened. What was happening was, in my thoughts and in my mind, my intention was paying focused attention to all these thoughts, feelings, and beliefs, and I was continuing to identify with them. At the end of the experience, what actually started to happen was the part of me that is the observer, was observing that I had two options. I could continue to identify with the story, with the wound, or I didn't have to. I could choose to not identify with the story or wound. By choosing to not identify with the story, sure, the story exists. I'm not pretending it didn't happen. I have the experience. But by not making it part of who I am, by not bringing it into the circle with me as a facilitator, because I was unconsciously bringing these things with me. And I was unconsciously identifying with them. So the healing from scab to scar is the conscious choice to no longer identify with that story as a part of me, as my current identity. That's in the there and then. That's in the past. That's not who I am now. That healing, that turns that scab into a scar. And what makes that possible, at least for me, is the part of my mind that was observing all my thoughts and was caught up in it. That's my intention. I was caught up in it. My intention was to heal and to explore it and to get to the bottom of it and to understand it better. But then the wisdom within me was like, take a space, take a step back. And then, because of the space, I was then able to access the part of my mind that is the observer, the part of my mind that was aware of what I was doing. This observer part of our minds is our attention. And this is where I want to bring in Quan Yin. We have Quan Yin. Everybody knows Quan Yin, and all of us have our own unique relationship with Quan Yin, the goddess of compassion. You know, some of our relationships run really deep. Like this, I received this as a gift when I was 21 in my first meditation retreat, more than half my life ago. So Quan Yin has been with me for a while, but she just awakened something in me that I hadn't accessed until now. And that's why I'm sharing this video. I always thought of Quan Yin as an aspect outside of me, like the statue, like a deity, like somebody you would call, Om Mani Padme Hum, and you would invoke her to come in, and she would somehow bestow her attention and her love and her compassion, and she wouldn't change or fix anything, but her very presence was healing. And that's kind of how I guess I thought she was. It was my relationship with her. But now I realize, as within, so without. So if Quan Yin exists outside of me, and we light candles and incense, and we build shrines and altars to her, then she exists symbolically inside. And where and how does she exist? Inside. And how she exists inside of me, or my awareness, is in my awareness and my attention. So that aspect of me that I illustrated yesterday, that started to see the two pathways and started to see that I could identify with the scab and make it be my personality and make it be who I am, or I no longer needed to identify with it. It was a part of my history and I could move on. That part of me, that observer, that attention, that one that creates space, that is Quan Yin. Quan Yin is said to hear the cries of the people. She's taken a bodhisattva vow. She cannot turn away from the suffering of the people. Now, within us, and from a Qigong perspective, the Qigong practitioners, we often describe our bodies as kingdoms. So you have this kingdom in your body, And within your kingdom, you have all these people that live within you. Just like we live in a country, and within the country there's a bunch of people. And so within our kingdom, within our body kingdom, we have these people. Our people are our thoughts, our personalities, our beliefs, our emotions, our feelings. These are all people. So when the inner Quan Yin hears the cries of the people, what she's doing is she's listening into, there is something that disturbed the silence. There was something that disturbed the peace. There was something that disturbed the wholeness, the healing. And it was the suffering of the turmoil of these false identities, thoughts, emotions, feelings, and beliefs. So she can't turn away. She turns her attention, her gaze onto this. And then what she does is she lovingly pays attention. And with that loving attention, what happens, and if you've experienced this too, you'll know what I'm saying, is there's this spaciousness, and then there is this place of great love, of compassion, of this like maternal sense of holding. That's this unconditional love for yourself and for all the things you're going through. And then all those things you're going through, they start to settle. They start to just fall away because you're no longer identifying with them. So your pure awareness can start to tap into what's beyond the suffering of your mind, and can tap into more of this pure light that is beyond the forefront of your false identities. So in an essence, that's what I'm sharing, is the healing process. The healing process that I experienced, and I'm curious about how you would describe healing from scab to scar, is being able to no longer identify with that wound as a part of who you are now. And in order to access the ability to identify a truer identity, it's through your conscious awareness and attention. And that conscious awareness and attention is your internal Quan Yin. Thank you. And may healing within you happen with your conscious awareness and presence.